Hi, it's Emily and thank you so much for clicking this video. So for today I'm actually going to be doing a first impressions and review on the new Hourglass Vanity Seamless Finish Liquid Foundation. I'm really excited to be doing this review today because I've been actually wanting to try out their stick foundation for a while now, and every time I would try it on my hand in the store it seemed like a really nice formula, and so when I saw that they came out with this liquid foundation and I saw it was getting some good reviews, I decided why not just try the new liquid foundation. So I went to Sephora and I did pick up a sample of it, and this is something that I really recommend if you don't want to buy a full product of something, whether it's because it's too expensive or if you don't know if it's just going to be the right formula for you or react well with your skin. This is something I really recommend, so you could always just try either little testers at home or you can just try it on a full face for the day and just see if it works well with your skin. I've done this with other foundations before and it's really helped me to know if I actually wanted to buy a full product or be like, oh, I thought I would like this but I actually didn't as much as I thought, and so I'm just gonna put the sample aside and not buy the full product. So that's what I did, is I bought a little sample of it, and I bought the color in beige, and this was the color that me and someone that was helping me shade match in the store, which was really nice to have someone help shade match there, because something about this foundation is they do have a lot of different undertones. And so usually in foundations I'm used to going to just the lightest color and that's the only one that'll be the closest to my skin tone, but for this one they actually had a lot of different undertones, and so you can actually find something a lot closer to your skin instead of just trying to like find a close match. So here's the container that you get the sample in, and it's really nice because you can just ask them for this and they get a good amount of product in here for you and they fill it up. I think this is at least about a week's worth in here for you, and that's really nice because you can try it out for a while and make sure it's really something that you like. So I'm just going to start by opening this up. Okay, so it's actually a lot thicker than I thought it was, but there, as you can see. So to apply this, I'm just going to be using my favorite foundation brush, and that's going to be the Morphe M439, and I'm just going to take this on my pinky and start applying it on my skin. I'm just going to start with a little bit and just spread that kind of all over my face. I usually do need some extra coverage in here, that's why I'm doing some heavier dots in that area. Okay, so now I'm just going to start buffing this in and then see how it looks. One thing I am noticing right off the bat, and I didn't notice this in the store because she was just applying the shade match just here, but I am noticing applying it that it does have a definite smell to it. It's not a bad smell, it's kind of a fruity smell, or almost like a sweet tea smell. Which if something like that bugs you, like strong smells or a fruity smell, that may be something you want to like keep in mind, but that's not something that personally bothers me, it's just a little bit different. So looking at the shade match overall, I do still really like the shade match, and I do think this is still the right shade for me, and I like that it doesn't make me look super pasty right off the bat and it has more color to it, so that is something I definitely do like about having more of the undertone options from this. Something that is nice about this too is it doesn't dry down too fast, because I have had foundations before that when I put it all over my face like that, by the time I get to my forehead it has dried down and I can't buff it out, so that's nice that it's still creamy enough that you can buff it in. Alright, so here is the first layer. I definitely like the first layer. I like that it still looks like my skin. I like that it doesn't look too powdery or cakey. I think I do want to go in and try building up some in the areas that I do like some extra coverage, and that'd be kind of nice to see how it builds too. But for the first layer, I think it looks really nice, and I like that it actually looks like skin still. So I'm just going to be taking a little bit extra and just kind of putting it in the areas I feel like I need some extra coverage. So adding on that second layer definitely does help add coverage. It just looks a little bit thick right now, and so I'm going to finish buffing out the rest and then see what I think about it. One thing that is really nice is I like how much this cancels out all of the redness that I get in my skin, because that is something that I usually have to cover up extra with, and so it's nice that this helps cover that up a lot so I don't have to add on like extra concealer or corrector for that. Okay, so that is all of the second layer. I definitely really like the coverage that the second layer added on. I do think that I could have possibly gone a little bit lighter handed with it, because I do feel it's a little bit thick in my smile lines, and that's an area that I do struggle with it creasing and stuff. And so that might be something that I want to go a little bit lighter in the future with, but besides that, I think it looks good, and I'm just going to go ahead and put my concealer on top and then see how that looks. So for concealer, I'm just going to be using my normal concealer that I always do, and that's going to be the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. And then to buff out my concealer, I'm going to be using this e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush. So looking at this first side, the concealer has set really nice with this product, and it hasn't set weird or hasn't like messed up in any way. And so I'm going to go ahead and blend out the other side. So I think the concealer set really well on the foundation on both sides, and I'm now going to be setting both the concealer and the foundation, and for that I'm going to be using the Pixie by Petra Flawless Finishing Powder, which is something that I've been using a lot recently, and I'm going to be applying that with this Kat Von D 20 brush. I'm first going to start off by setting my under eyes first, just because that's an area that usually always creases fast for me. So I'm making sure that I don't have any creases before I set my smile line with powder, because if you do set it with powder, if it has creases, they're going to set the creases. So you want to make sure that everything is smooth before you set it. Okay, so now that everything is on and set, everything is looking really matte and really smooth. I like how it looks so far, and I'm just going to go ahead and do the rest of my makeup, and then I'll be back when I'm done. So here's my makeup that I'm going to be wearing for the full day, and overall I really like the foundation so far. I think all the products blended really smooth on top. Nothing was patchy or reacted weird, and just looking at my skin up close in the mirror and everything just looks really smooth, looks really well like blended, almost like airbrush kind of, and it just looks really good. And I love how it canceled out the redness in my skin, and I just love how it just kind of looks like I have almost like light creamy look over my face, if that makes sense. But I feel like that's just from the foundation, and I did spray my foundation and all my products in the end with the Morphe Continuous Setting Spray. That is something that I always do with my foundation. I do feel like that helps with foundation a lot, to help it look more natural, more skin-like, and help all your products melt together. So do keep that in mind if that's not a step that you like doing, because that could have made a difference for this. But I just really like how it looks, and if it keeps looking like this throughout the day, this is definitely a product I think I'd purchase, because it's not often that a foundation doesn't crease in my smile lines right away, so this is a really good sign. Okay, so it is 11:45 right now, and I just stopped my makeup, and I'm gonna go run some errands during the day. I'm gonna go do some things, walk my dog, eat food, see how this makeup holds out throughout the day, and then I'm gonna come check back in at the end and show you guys how it looks. So right now it is 3:36 in the afternoon, so it's been about 4 hours that I have been wearing this foundation, and I'm just wanting to check in right now in the light to see how it's all looking. And so I came out in the natural light. I'm like in between errands, and so I thought that this would be a good time to check it. And pulling out my mirror and looking at it, honestly, it looks really good. There's a little creasing here on the left side of my mouth. I don't know if you guys can see it. Hopefully you can. This side, I don't really see any creasing. This side just a little bit. That's honestly not as bad though compared to a lot of other creasing that I usually have. It usually looks a lot worse than this, and it usually looks a lot worse within a shorter amount of time than this. And so I am gonna see if that is something I can pat out real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I did just pat my finger over the smile lines a little bit, and they actually did go away really smoothly and really easily, and it didn't take off any foundation. That's something I've experienced in the past, is when I try to tap it off or try to blend it out, is it takes off the product, and then I have kind of like a pinky mark because my skin is more pink. But tapping it in, it still looks good, and overall I think the foundation is holding up really well. I'm trying to get some more up close in this lighting for you guys, but so far I'm really liking it. Okay, so I am back. It's the end of the night and I'm about to go take off my makeup. It is currently 8:39 and this is my makeup that I've been wearing since 11:45, so I believe it's been 9 hours of me wearing this, and I'm gonna do my final check-in for the day. Okay, so overall, I really do like how this foundation wore. It did honestly crease a little bit here in my smile lines, which I think is a little bit inevitable because I am pretty expressive and I smile and laugh a lot. So I do think that is inevitable. But compared to so many other foundations where they crease and they look really bad on me and they kind of age me a bit, these honestly look really, really good, and I can easily just go like this, pat and blend them out, but they're honestly really not that bad. So here's my skin and foundation after wearing it for 9 hours. Also, another really nice thing is on my nose there actually wasn't a lot of separation of foundation. Usually with foundations I actually have a lot of separation and breakage up there since I do have like a really oily T-zone, especially in my nose. And so it's really nice that my foundation actually stayed pretty well in place around that area. I think another thing is around my mouth area. All my lipstick did come off because I was eating lunch and dinner today and I had a lot of oily foods. So my lipstick did get taken off by that, but the foundation surrounding it looks pretty good. It doesn't look really bad or messed up, or like if I have like a weird red rim around my lips, and so those look really good. And I feel like you can kind of tell in the foundation that the natural oil in my skin did come through, but I don't feel like my skin looks oily, which I think is really good. And I think that's probably due to the fact that when I first put on the foundation, it was pretty natural looking and more skin-like looking. It wasn't really dewy to begin with. So my natural dew in my skin kind of made it look more dewy, but it doesn't look too oily, which I really like. Okay, so that is my first impressions and review on the new Hourglass Vanity Liquid Foundation. Overall, I think I honestly really do like this foundation. I think I am actually going to repurchase it once I run out of the sample. With my overall experience with foundations, I usually experience a lot more breakup and creasing around the smile lines, a lot more oil breakthrough, and so I'm really impressed by this, and I think it looks really good after 9 hours of wear on my skin. I really liked it, and it also is gluten-free, which is really good for my skin because I found that products that have gluten in it, since I do have gluten allergy, that it does make my skin break out, and since it's gluten-free, it's completely safe for my skin, and I love that as well. I think the color is a perfect match, and I really like overall how it blended on my skin and how it looked from beginning all the way to end, and I think this is a really good product. So if you guys are looking for a new foundation, I would definitely recommend to go out and try this. If you just want to get the sample, or if you like the stick foundation, just go ahead and try the liquid one because this is a really good formula and I definitely recommend it. Overall, I had a really fun time filming this video and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a comment down below what type of video you want to see next, and give this video a big thumbs up. Also subscribe if you haven't joined already, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.